Yeah, I think the stat sheet that you look at, there's a lot of positives on there from game to game, and there's even some games afterwards where you look at the stat sheet and think, man, I think one game we shot 60% and lost. So you can look at the positives and say, there's things we're doing well, and if you look at the overall totals, there's a lot of good things about this basketball team. Probably the biggest thing is just finishing off games, and we've talked so much about that, but I think hopefully just kind of getting over the hump last weekend and getting a victory at home against University of Mary can kind of jumpstart us, because we've had so many games that we've been close, and unfortunately close doesn't go in the victory column, and sometimes close can be frustrating to you, even though there's things you can build off of. So I think just continuing to work, continuing to do a lot of the same things, but just finishing off games better, and knowing when it's time to win a basketball game, there's a lot of little things that go into that aren't on the stat sheet. So a loose ball or a box out or execution of a play or spacing on the court, some of those things maybe that you can't see by the stat sheet are just separating us from a few more wins.
There's been flashes from everybody that's been playing, but where can more consistency come from for you guys?
Yeah, no, I think you nailed it right there. It's a consistency thing. Last game, Drake comes out and has 21 points, but he's been up and down a little bit before that, or Cody Dwyer's had big games, or David's had big games, or Kyle Beisch, or Dorian, or on down the list. So the key is to get the best players, pretty much what you're going to get from them every night. And a good game might be 15 points, and a bad game might be 13 points, from those guys. And the ultra consistent guys are usually the guys that win basketball games. And even if it's not the points, you can count on them for defense or for rebounding or for execution. So just the overall consistency of our team. I think sometimes with young guys that can be up and down, and we've got a lot of guys that we see really good things from in practice regularly, and I need to see it a little bit more regularly in games, and when they can do that, and I think that's coming soon, when we start doing that, then we're going to have a little more success in terms of wins and losses.
Yeah, so you get that first conference win against Mary. What from that victorious performance do you want to take going forward so that you can make a climb up the standings here in the second half?
Well, I thought really for one of the first times all year, we really were able to turn our defense into offense on the other end. We forced turnovers. We had some possessions where we forced bad shots and long rebounds. We were able to turn that into transition on the other end really fast and easy baskets. And we haven't been great at that all year, and making the right decisions on when to push hard and get a quick shot, and when to execute and maybe slow down. And I thought that was probably the best thing we improved against Mary last weekend, and hopefully something that we can continue to do, because that ability to create easy baskets is such a big key to winning a basketball game.
Yeah, like you said, there's been consistent performances from like the Davids, Kyles, Max, Dorian so far. At least they're the double-digit scorers. How does the supporting cast contribute more to those guys?
Yeah, we have a lot of guys that can do a lot of things, and whether that's somebody coming in and consistently giving us 6 or 8 rebounds, or whether that's somebody coming in and giving us 8 minutes of great defense, and whether that's a little bit more scoring from somebody like Drake or somebody like Alex off the bench shooting the ball consistently, whatever it is. Those guys have different talents, and we just need more solid minutes from them. And some of them have been a little up and down and feeling things out a little bit. I thought our bench was overall much more engaged, much more energetic, much more just locked into the details against Mary. And we're going to play when you're playing 6 guys pretty regularly and looking for those last 2 or 3 to join in. Consistency is a big reason why we were successful. Those last 3-4 guys were much better off the bench and gave us more of a lift, and hopefully we can just continue that, because you need a little bit of depth to be a team that gets wins consistently, especially now that we're back to playing back-to-back nights.
Max recently broke the Division II era Minnesota State record for assists in the game with 13 assists recently. So how much easier does it make running an offense when you have a player that's capable of putting up numbers?
Well, Max is he's really a cerebral player. He's done a great job of learning the last 2 years, in his redshirt year and in his freshman year, of watching some of the older point guards play and learning from them. He really understands our offense inside and out. He knows where each guy is supposed to be. That certainly helps. He does a good job of getting guys the ball in their best positions, whether that's a guy on a catch and shoot, or a guy on a cut, or a guy on a post feed. So he really thinks the game well. I think that helps make it easy for other guys. And I think as we continue to play together, he'll get even better at that.
All right, so coming up, you got Mankato on Friday night. It's another team that has the 4 double-digit scoring cast: Kirksey, Krieger, Anderson, and McLeod. What's #1 importance for your defense?
Well, Mankato is a really good team. You know, been to a lot of NCAA tournaments lately, always among the tops in our league. I think they're right up there again this year, at least early on. They've looked like a conference championship type team. They've got great players. They've got consistency in their coaching staff, and they do a great job coaching. So a very solid basketball team coming in here, traditionally a ranked top 25 type team. So we had 2 great games with them last year, both of them down to the wire. We were able to win one and lost one, unfortunately. But I'd expect a great team coming in here on Friday nights. I think one of the biggest keys for us will be to put them in the half court, be great in transition defense, make them score over us, and be great in our get-backs, and then make them play in the half court a little bit more. So that'll be one of the things that we've talked about all week, and we'll continue to work on today and hopefully be able to carry over tomorrow.
Yeah, and like for Concordia, it's all been about their guard, Brendan Matthews. He's shooting 62% as a guard. I think that's pretty crazy. 20 points a game. I mean,
yeah, they've got a couple senior guards that are both averaging close to 20 points for them. Haven't dug into them as much as a Saturday game, but know that they've got some guys that can really put points on the board. I think they were really playing well early and have hit a little bit of a speed bump since conference play has started, and we'll dig into them a little bit more. You know, after the Minnesota State game, but I do know they've got some good playmakers, and I do know that they're going to come in and play hard. So hopefully we can do a good job slowing down those 2 guards and limiting the looks for their other guys as well.